All right, so let's finish this example with one more. The only difference, I have it written down right here if you want to go ahead and write it down. The only difference is instead of a binomial, instead of factoring a binomial, we're just factoring a trinomial. Nothing's going to change, but now instead of looking at two different numbers, we're comparing three different numbers to find our GCF. So, you know there's an invisible 1 right here. What is the GCF between 1, 7, and 5? What number do they all share? Well, 1 just goes into 1. 7's a prime number, so it's 1 and 7. 5 is a prime number, so it's just 1 and 5. So the number that they all share is 1. Okay? Just 1. Just 1. So, now, what about the variables? Well, it's the same shortcut. You take the variable with the lowest exponent, x cubed, x squared, x. The lowest one is x. That's your GCF. Now, let's figure out what's left. What would we need inside the parentheses so that if we multiply it by the GCF, we would get what we started with? So let's just see. Take it one term at a time. So if I have, I'm just going to erase that because you know that's invisible. If I have x, let me get rid of that one too. If I have x and I want to get x cubed, what would I have to multiply the x by? Hopefully you will say x squared. X times x squared gives you the x cubed, all right? Second term, if I want to get a positive 7x squared, what would I have to multiply the x by? Well, there's just 7, so it's like 1 times 7. So it'd be a positive 7. If I have one x here, but I want an x squared, I would have to multiply by another x. X times 7x gives me the positive 7x squared. Okay? So if I multiply this term times that term, I should get exactly what I have right above it. Last term. I have a negative 5. Well, it's just 1 times negative 5 is negative 5, so I'll write that down. I already have an x there. X times negative 5 is negative 5x. I'm done. So, one of the things that you're going to have to do is take your time. You cannot afford just to try to just get through this, scoot through this just by, guessing. Guessing is gone. You have one toe in your sophomore year. This is the fourth quarter. You are closer to being a sophomore than you are to saying that you're a freshman. You've only got like a few more weeks. You've got to stop this. Let me just write something down because my teacher is stupid enough to believe as long as I write something down, I did the work. It is time to think. This is where you need to think. It is time to check your work. And it is time to realize that if you're not getting this, you need to come see me. You need to ask me questions. You need to watch the video again. You need to get you a tutor. You need to go to homework zone, whatever. All right? So just pay attention to the detail. Slow it down. I'd rather you be slow and correct than fast and wrong. And a lot of y'all just want to be fast because you think it makes you look smart, but it doesn't, because you and I both know you have no clue what you're doing. I know it. So just pay attention, take your time, all right, and make sure you get this right. Now, we're going to just add a little bit of information because the whole point of this lesson is to solve problems. So the next section is solving the polynomial. So this is all that's going to happen. You got example 3 there. Here's letter A. Here's letter A. You got 2x, squared plus 8x. This problem looks just like the ones that we just did, except when we ask you to solve the polynomial, it's going to be equal to. All right? Equal to. It needs to be equal to 0. If it's not, I'm going to give you an example in a minute. Well, we'll make it equal to 0. So we're going to do the same thing that we did. You're just going to tack on this equal to 0. So GCF, 2 and 8. What's the GCF? 2. What's the GCF between x squared and x? X. All right? What's left? If I have a 2x and I want to get x squared, I have to multiply by x. 2x times x is x squared, right? If I have a 2x and I want to get 8x, what would you have to multiply 8x by? Plus 4. Then I just add that 0 at the end. And now we have exactly what we started with at the beginning of the notes. I have a product, 2x times all of this equals 0. I'm going to separate because I don't know which one is 0. Set them both equal to 0. Okay, I totally didn't write that right. Let me do it again. 2x equals 0. X plus 4 equals 0. Now let's wrap this up because I'm running out of time on my video. 2x, if I divide both sides by 2, x equals 0. That's fine. X plus 4 equals 0. My x supposed to be negative 4. There's my two solutions.